Measure for measure. Act 1, Scene 2. Analysis. Welcome to today's video, where we analyse Act 1, Scene 2 of Shakespeare's Measure for Measure. In this scene, we move away from the Duke's court and into the streets of Vienna, where we see the impact of strict new laws on ordinary citizens. Let's break it down. Scene summary: law, laughter, and punishment. This scene introduces us to Lucio and his friends, whose witty and cynical conversation sets a humorous tone. However, their light-hearted banter is interrupted by Mistress Overdone, a brothel owner, who reveals shocking news. Claudio has been arrested and sentenced to death for making his fiancée Juliet pregnant before marriage, an act that had previously gone unpunished in Vienna. Soon after, Pompey, a clown and servant to Mistress Overdone, further mocks the situation, questioning whether shutting down brothels will truly reform society. However, the scene grows serious when Claudio appears, escorted by the provost, and laments how laws ignored for decades are now suddenly being enforced. He urges Lucio to find his sister Isabella, a soon-to-be nun, and ask her to appeal to Angelo on his behalf. This scene blends comedy with tragedy, showing both the city's corruption and the unfair consequences of rigid morality. Theme 1: Hypocrisy and selective justice. Is justice truly served when laws are enforced arbitrarily? Claudio bitterly complains that old laws, long ignored, are suddenly being enforced to make an example of him. Thus can the demigod authority make us pay down for our offence by weight. Here, Claudio personifies authority as a demigod, suggesting that those in power can arbitrarily decide when and how to enforce laws, treating punishment as a form of currency rather than true justice. He furthers this by comparing the law to old, unused armour. Awakes me all the enrolled penalties, which have, like unscoured armour, hung by the wall, so long that 19 zodiacs have gone round, and none of them been worn. This metaphor reinforces the unfairness of his punishment, as it exposes how Angelo is using outdated laws for his own purposes rather than for true justice. Theme 2: Corruption and moral decay. Is Vienna truly corrupt, or is Angelo just pretending to be its saviour? The opening conversation between Lucio and his friends is filled with bawdy jokes and irreverent comments about religion, war, and morality, showing Vienna's moral looseness. Thou concludest like the sanctimonious pirate that went to sea with the 10 commandments, but scraped one out of the table. Here, Lucio satirises religious hypocrisy, joking that people like to preach morality but ignore the rules when convenient, a direct critique of Angelo's rigid moral enforcement. Pompey later ridicules the idea that shutting down brothels will actually improve society. All houses in the suburbs of Vienna must be plucked down. Pompey sarcastically suggests that vice will simply move elsewhere, showing that moral corruption cannot simply be erased by strict laws. Literary device 1: Satire and wordplay. Comedy often exposes serious truths. Shakespeare uses satirical exchanges to mock false morality. Lucio: a French crown more. Second gentleman: thou art always figuring diseases in me, but thou art full of error. I am sound. Lucio's joke about a French crown is a bawdy pun on venereal disease, syphilis, mocking his friend's promiscuity. The exchange exposes the reality of vice in Vienna, contrasting with Angelo's claim to enforce moral purity. Literary device 2: Irony. Justice is blind, but in Vienna it seems highly selective. Lucio: if I could speak so wisely under an arrest, I would send for certain of my creditors. Dramatic irony. The audience knows that Angelo will later be caught in his own hypocrisy, enforcing chastity while attempting to exploit Isabella. Situational irony. Claudio is arrested for an act that many have done without punishment, making his downfall seem more about power than morality. Literary device 3. Metaphor, law as armour. Does enforcing old laws make a ruler just or just feared? Awakes me all the enrolled penalties, which have, like unscoured armour, hung by the wall. The armour metaphor suggests that Angelo's strict laws are outdated and being used selectively rather than fairly. Literary device 4. Personification, law and justice. Is justice an impartial force or a weapon in the hands of rulers? Thus, can the demigod authority make us pay down for our offence by weight? Authority is personified as a demigod, implying that those in power treat punishment like a form of commerce rather than a moral duty. Literary device 5. Double entendre and wordplay. Shakespeare loved his double meanings, especially in comedic exchanges. Pompey, groping for trouts in a peculiar river. This double entendre humorously describes Claudio's offence, equating sexual relations with fishing, showing how Shakespeare blends comedy with serious social critique. Foreshadowing. Will Isabella save Claudio? Claudio's fate is uncertain, but will Isabella's plea change everything? Claudio. This day my sister should the cloister enter, implore her in my voice that she make friends to the strict deputy. Claudio's plea for Isabella's help foreshadows her major role in the upcoming scenes. This sets up the central conflict between rigid justice, Angelo, and mercy, Isabella. Conclusion and what's next? Will Angelo remain unmoved, or will Isabella change his mind? This scene sets up a major conflict. Does enforcing laws create justice, or does it create fear? Claudio's arrest shows how power can be wielded unjustly, and hypocrisy can hide behind strict morality. Stay tuned for our next video, where we break down Act 1, Scene 3, and explore the Duke's secret motives. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more Shakespearean insights. See you next time.